welcome everyone to the second ACM SIGPLAN conference workshop on programming for the planet. Anil and I kind of cooked this idea up a few years ago. We both sort of started working a bit outside of our domain, talking to people working in climate and biodiversity and conservation, and trying to assist with what we knew about and sort of bring our skills to that area. And we thought this would be great to have a workshop that brought this to the PL community. And so it's great that we could run this again. The first time we ran PROPL was at POPL. So we had PROPL at POPL in 2024, I think, January. And it's great that we're being able to co-locate it with ICFP Splash this year. Thank you very much to Casey, who was the program chair this year, and Anil and I have been sort of general chairs / organizing. So a bit of context, I won't spend too long on this, but we know that the world is getting a lot hotter and quite quickly as well. The aggregate of our sort of understandings in climate models, in all of our simulations, has tracked very closely with the observations in terms of sort of global mean temperature. If we take our simulations and we subtract the sort of anthropogenic sources of greenhouse gases, then on this graph on the right that's from the IPCC reports, we see that the warming will basically be almost no warming if you only took into account natural sources of forcings on the climate. So we can see that it's pretty clear that we're having a really quite dramatic effect on our global system. And then there are various kind of interlinked crises with that as well around biodiversity and desertification. Antonio Guterres said a few years ago that it's a race that we are losing, but a race that we can win. And the idea with PROPL is to help with computer science, with programming languages and systems, and you will hear to sort of bring our collective knowledge and expertise to help kind of turn the bus around. And I think what's really exciting at this time is that we are seeing that things are changing, which is fantastic, and there's a lot of really positive things going on, but we also have to move faster. So there's this wonderful book called 5 Times Faster by Simon Sharp that really goes through the kind of institutions that we have in terms of our economic systems, academia, diplomacy, and looks at how there needs to be a bit of a reorienting, a big reorienting, if we're going to speed things up. And he has this great quote that I'll read: "Our appreciation of the risks of climate change is limited by the way our academic institutions encourage each researcher to focus on their own narrow area of expertise." So this is what we're trying to sort of break here with PROPL and the work we've been doing to break out of that kind of narrowing of expertise and reach across disciplines. And this is a good call to action as well. Any actor should understand their points of leverage. We each have to understand the opportunities presented by our place in the system and do our best to exploit them. So it's something that we've been thinking about for a while, Anil and I, and hopefully this would be a chance for us all to think about that, how we can use our particular levers to help the overall system. So we've got a really exciting program today. We've kind of broken it down into 3 blocks. We're going to start this morning with what I think are quite broad initiatives and some sort of application areas. Broadly, we've called this programming for biodiversity and climate, but there's going to be some food for thought here about particular approaches and application areas. So hopefully that will kind of stimulate us to think about work that's going on broadly. Session 2, I think, gets more technical and kind of bridges into our community with various bits of work going on that build on things from this space. And then session 3, we have lots of shorter talks and demos and discussions, and there's going to be a lot of kind of concrete action and applications there. And then in the evening gets a chance for us to kind of chat and plot our next move as well. We've got here a link to the Energy and Environment group that's at Cambridge, you'd be welcome to join that, I think, as well, if you want to kind of keep the discussion going afterwards. So that's roughly how things go. Some of you will be already kind of thinking about this and working in this space. Perhaps for some of you, it's kind of you're new to thinking about this, and we'd be very happy to kind of discuss. I think there's huge amounts going on from our community trying to reach across, whether that's in like climate modeling, that's kind of my area, or on building new systems to help with conservation efforts or biodiversity efforts. I think Anil has lots to say about that. But hopefully throughout the day there'll be lots to inspire us about where we could help, and lots of interesting things going on that we can learn about. So the first session is going to be a series of 3 remote talks. That was a good way to make things work with the time zones, but then later on will be more of the in-person things. So hopefully we can switch over to that. Yeah, that's the end of my slides.